This is KGW News at Sunrise.
A push from Portland's city leaders to clean up our streets. Mayor Ted Wheeler's emergency powers to ban homeless camps along major roads has been extended. How it's also opening up doors to more housing. Plus,
well, we all are going to have emotional trauma probably forever.
A mother calls out a Northwest nonprofit that helps bail people out of jail. She says because of them, her son was murdered.
And later on Sunrise, welcome relief for schools in communities hit by wildfires. As enrollment drops, they're getting money to keep services going.
good morning to you on a Friday. We have made it. Rod Hill especially excited because today kind of starts Washington spring break.
But I can't sing the word Friday quite like you did. That was lovely.
You're the master of that. Come on.
Oh, you got a special little something to it. Here's a look at the Wells Fargo camera this morning. Telecom Crossing was all lit up. Now it's not. So it was a prettier shot for you. 43 is the early morning number. Some of you are in the 30s. Another fairly chilly start to our day. But we are dry. Partly cloudy. We'll be about 40 degrees as the kids start their day. Still dry at noon, 53. Clouds, sun could be kind of back and forth during the morning hours. Eventually we'll cloud over. 60 and still mainly dry when the kids get out of school. But remember, later today, and especially this evening, we do expect some more rain to come in.
Rod, thank you. In Portland's homeless crisis, the City Council voted unanimously to extend the citywide housing state of emergency for 3 more years. According to the city, this allows it to speed up the process of building shelters and to bypass certain zoning and building codes if needed. The emergency declaration was first announced in early February. It's aimed at moving homeless campers away from dangerous roadways. The mayor's office has released a list of 50 sites it says have been cleared since then. We have a link to that list on our website.
This week, the city of Gresham is trying something new to help those without a home find a job. Here's how it works. The homeless services team is handing out job applications. It's trying to fill 30 public utility jobs that pay around $19 an hour. Yesterday, outreach workers stopped by My Father's House, a shelter where residents are required to find a full-time job. People there were excited about the opportunity.
Yeah, that's big time. I mean, to work for the city, that's a big job. That's a great job. Retirement and everything. I'm an older gentleman. I'm 55 now, so retirement's close.
The jobs are seasonal, although the city says they can lead to permanent opportunities.
Well, this next report is about a couple of local groups who accept donations to help bail people out of jail. One of the groups helped bail out a man accused of attempted murder during the Portland protests in the summer of 2020. The other bailed out a man accused of violent assault. Last night on The Story, Pat Doris took a closer look at both cases and the groups involved in those bailouts.
The way things work right now, a judge sets bail and the suspect or someone else pays a percentage of that bail. Then if they don't show up for court, they're on the hook for the full amount. Consider what happened in this case. Malik Muhammad was sentenced this week to 10 years in prison for violence during the Portland protests in 2020. Prosecutors say he threw a Molotov cocktail at police, which carried an attempted murder charge. When he was arrested last year, the judge set bail at more than $2 million. A group called the Portland Freedom Fund raised enough money to get him out of jail, $212,000. Their website says they are a volunteer-run abolitionist organization currently dedicated to reducing harms perpetuated against our black, brown, and indigenous neighbors by the criminal justice system through posting bail so they may navigate their case from a position of freedom. Muhammad was released, but not for long. A few days later, the feds arrested him on their own charges for the same case. A much more extreme situation happened in Washington state with a different group. The Northwest Community Bail Fund says their goal is to fight systemic racism in the criminal justice system. But they bailed out a man accused of a violent assault who then went on to allegedly murder someone.
Prosecutor's office told the judges he was a danger. That word should have meant something to somebody. And it didn't. And I don't have a baby. I don't have my son.
That was the mother of the victim who was stabbed to death at Seattle's City Hall Park. The suspect had been in jail accused of assaulting a 65-year-old man in the same park. The Northwest Community Bail Fund paid his $5,000 bail, and 2 months later, he was arrested for that murder. Fund leaders say everyone has the right to get out of jail, saying you're innocent until proven guilty. They want to get rid of the cash bail system entirely. Here in Oregon, the Multnomah County District Attorney ran on a platform of eliminating bail. Here's what he told us in a statement today. It doesn't matter to victims of crime if a defendant has $500 or not. What matters to them is their safety and the safety of the community that they live in. That's our first priority in the DA's office. I'm concerned with the danger that a person poses if released, both to the victim in the case and to the public safety, not the level of financial resources they have available. My office continues to advocate to reduce reliance on cash bail and instead focus on detaining those individuals who pose the most significant threat of future criminality, regardless of their financial means. So, what is the alternative? Well, in some states like New Jersey and Alaska, they've replaced cash bail with a system where the judges determine whether or not someone can be released based on things like the severity of the charge, the suspect's criminal history, and how likely they are to show up for court. That way, if someone who's rich is arrested for murder, they can't bail their way out of jail. And on the other side, if someone who's poor is arrested for something minor, they won't be stuck in jail because they don't have money to post the bail. But some bail reform advocates argue that's not great either because judges can be biased, they say. It's a complicated issue. We dig into it much more in our full report, which you can watch right now on KGW's YouTube channel. And let us know what you think. You can email us at thestory@kgw.com or leave us a message, 503-226-5090.
Investigators in Columbia County are working to figure out what led officers to shoot and kill a man at a tow yard. It's not clear if the suspect also fired a gun or if he was even armed. Here's what we do know. This began as a disturbance call at Grumpy's Towing along Highway 30 in Scappoose. Shortly after arriving yesterday morning, one Columbia County Sheriff's deputy and one Oregon State trooper fired their guns. The suspect was killed. Here's how a witness who works nearby described what happened.
As soon as the cops pulled in, it went from a couple of shots to a bunch of shots, and then it was just over pretty much as fast as it started, you know. So it was loud, it was crazy. I was pretty scared, to be honest with you.
Investigators say the man who was killed was wanted for murder in a separate case.
Here's some more of your Friday morning headlines, and we start with some staggering numbers. The Portland Police Enhanced Community Safety Team tallied up the toll of gun violence just in the past 7 days. Get this, 23 people have been shot in Portland in the last week. One of them died. The team responds specifically to non-fatal shootings. They've also made 3 arrests in that time. We've learned the team is stepping up their response on Friday and Saturday nights to help with investigations. A man was attacked in Portland's St. John's neighborhood yesterday morning when he tried to stop a guy from breaking into his car. The 64-year-old victim confronted the man going through his car. That's when an accomplice jumped in and started hitting the victim with that metal file you just saw. His wife and some neighbors helped stop the attack. They held the accomplice down until police could arrest him. As of this morning, the other suspect is still out there. And an update on a story we brought you yesterday. Police have now arrested that driver, they say, who crashed a stolen pickup into the Tualatin River, then abandoned his 6-month pregnant girlfriend in the water. Police body cams were recording as Washington County deputies rescued her. That suspect is Jonathan Laura. Hillsborough police arrested him on unrelated charges yesterday. And those are a few of your quick headlines.
The wildfires that tore through Oregon in September of 2020 have had a lasting impact on the budgets of several school districts. Those districts have been hoping for state funding to help them out. And this morning, Devin Haskins has an update on that hope. Devin, what's the latest?
Well, Drew, Governor Brown signed a new law last week. School funding is based on enrollment. So when families moved away after their homes burned, districts lost money, some losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. The Santiam Canyon District lost about 72 of its students, or 12%. So for them, this bill means nearly $750,000 in fundings they would have otherwise had to do without. The district superintendent says it means they can hang on to some of the important services for students and those families. The bill will adjust enrollment numbers to what they were before the wildfires.
It doesn't give us additional funding. It just holds us to the level where we were of kids prior to, which allows us to continue to provide supports of transportation to kids who are out of our community, additional counseling and mental health supports, and all those things that we need to do to support these kids and what they've been through.
Miller says the bill is retroactive, meaning helping the districts which will help the districts starting at the beginning of this school year and extending for another 3 years. Back to you guys.
All right, Devin, thank you for that update this morning. Now we turn our attention to that guy.
Absolutely, because we start a new month, April, and what can we expect as we look ahead?
First off, I love April. You know, it's a month of warming. It's a month of beautiful flowers. It's a month of increased daylight.
This whole statement is based on the fact that you're off next week.
That's very true. Take a look at our April kind of climate rundown, if you will. So this is the first month outside of the main rainy season. You know, the main rainy season for us, November through the month of March. Still, April has the promise of getting 2.89 inches of rain. The outlooks that I'm believing say we probably won't have that much. We'll be below normal, which is the way we finished March. Average temperatures 42 in the morning, 59 in the afternoon. That's today's normal. By the end of the month, the average high is 66. And what that means is your typical dry day with sun would actually be 70. Sunrise 6:50, 7:39 currently. But look, by April 30th, the sun comes up at 6 a.m. sharp. Doesn't go down until 8:16. So it'll be quite bright out actually until 8:30. So that's kind of the April climate book rundown as we start our new month. We are tracking this cold front. If you look on the satellite picture, it's an elongated narrow band of clouds. It doesn't look overly impressive, right? And it's not. It's another one in this what's become a long stretch of weak weather systems that, again, maybe will bring just a trace of rain to where you live, to at most here in the valley about 1/10 of an inch of rain, and the majority of that will fall this evening. We have a mix of cloud cover or partly cloudy skies inland right now on the west side. We have mainly clear conditions over in central and eastern Oregon. Futurecast does start a chance of rain as early as 1 o'clock or so this afternoon along the coast, and then later this afternoon could we have some showers push in as early as 4 o'clock. Maybe, maybe not. But once we get into the evening, once we strike anytime from 6 o'clock on, I think it's likely we start getting some showers. Here we are at 6:30 with a decent push of moisture coming through. Quick look at your temperature map, that'll get you to the 7-day. 39 right now in Astoria, 43 in Portland. It's 22 out in Baker City, so some chilly temperatures where it's clear. 7-day forecast numbers. Tomorrow, mainly dry, 58. A dry morning Sunday, then the rain comes in the afternoon, that steady rain Monday. Hey, coming up in just a bit, I went back on the job, right on the job, and this time, that's me calling the governor, Governor Inslee. I was the mayor of Vancouver, at least training to be. That's coming up shortly. The governor did not answer my call, by the way.